Good morning. Welcome to RocksChat. Tracy here, and if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So, it's very quiet around here. The sound of nothing but the faint sound of Fluffy meowing to go out. That's all I can hear right now. I was going to let her out and I forgot. She likes being outside now. She prefers it out there. And she even goes out when it's raining sometimes, which surprises me because she doesn't like the rain at all. But anyway, she loves it out the back. So yeah, Gary has now gone on his way to Euro Disney. Well, he's on the way to the airport. So I don't know what... I think their flight is midday, I want to say. I'm not sure. I know they have to get there stupidly early. I remember when we used to go on holiday, they used to say get there an hour before. And then they made it 2 hours, and I think they now make it 3. As if you just want to wait around that long in an airport. It's not the nicest. Just sitting around waiting, and the kids won't like it at all. I've got a good joke for you this morning. It's out of this book, because the other one's in the Arnavan. Seeing her husband... No, let's forget I said that. Seeing her friend Patty wearing a new locket, Edith asks if there's a memento of some sort inside. Yes, says Patty, it's a lock of my husband's hair. I'll do it in an Irish accent. But Henry's still alive. I know, but his hair is gone. I did that so you could tell the difference between the two of them. Oh. I could have done that for Gary, couldn't I? Actually, I do shave his hair off, so it's not quite gone, but it's kind of slowly leaving. It's exiting the building at an alarming rate. I've woke up hungry today, and the sad thing is there's very little in the house, although I do have eggs. That was a rumble. I do apologise if you heard it. And I do have some bacon, so I guess that's what I'll be having. Don't have anything else. So, you know, that's kind of all there's going to be. But it'll fill me up and, you know, it'll be a good start. To start easing into the low carbon. It won't be happening for a couple of days. I've got a few things I've got to do and it wouldn't fit in around it. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing it gradual over the next few days. On the wind down, as I say. So yeah, this is the second of those dresses. Remember a little while ago I bought 2 dresses. This is the second one, and hopefully it'll be way too big for me soon. It is quite big on the shoulders kind of thing, but it's meant to be kind of what I call flouncy. It's a flouncy dress. It's like gypsy style, not tight and stuff. It's flouncy. So hopefully it'll be kind of this year's taking it easy. I've got a message. Oh, it's from my website. Not from my website, it's from Chris. He has separated the yarn bundles from the mystery boxes. We now have 2 buttons and they're bigger. And I quite like the way he's done it so that it's just increased the amount. So it goes smaller, bigger, bigger, smaller. It's quite nice. And he's also doing a major overhaul of all the ways that the website links to its pages. And he's also added, I think, all of the postage areas. So the person who asked me about Israel, I think Israel is on. I'm not absolutely sure if he's done them all yet, but as he started on the categories and stuff like that, then I think, yeah, must have. But he's not going to change anything radical. And what he normally does is he normally makes a duplicate of the site and then he works on that. And if it works, then he just makes it the one, if you get the drift. Copies it over. So he kind of does it like that first in case it breaks it. And then otherwise that would be a disaster. So yeah, I haven't managed to get hold of Royal Mail about my refund from yesterday, but the queue on the phone was way too long for me to sit there and to devote that amount of time. When I had problems before, I managed to get through quite quickly, so maybe it was the time of day. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more luck another time, sort of thing. I'm going to just pause it for a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I forgot to bring my tea in. It was out the other room. I can't leave it there to go cold, so I had to pause it. So yesterday, if you were watching my channel, you might have noticed these, and this one is out of alignment because I've started using that one. Now what I've done is I sold just recently a couple of packs of these, and I thought, well, okay, a lot of people have always kind of said, well, I love the clovers, I'll only use those, they're my favourite hooks, etc. And I can only say that I've used this one. The reason being, it's the only one that I've got that's brown. So it kind of made me, it's obvious that this is actually, my brown one is actually a clover. Now I probably do have some other clovers, but where people have sent me happy mail in the past and sent me their hooks, I don't know if the ones I've got are actually clovers or something else, and mine have got mixed up. I know I had 3, but I don't remember seeing any that look like this apart from the brown one. So I decided to give myself a set of these hooks and review them. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And what I'm going to do is, while I was sitting there doing my live stream yesterday, I started to have a little go with one because I was itching to. And I started making a little granny square just because I was doing a live and it was easy to kind of get on with maybe making a granny square. And I was using that really lovely Poundland yarn because I had a ball that was started on anyway. And so I started making this granny square just to see what that hook was like. And I thought, what I'll do is, because it's hard to compare and contrast, I'm going to do like for like. So I'm going to make this, and then I'm going to make the same one with the same yarn using a tulip hook. And that will give me a good idea of how much I like or not those hooks and how they compare to the tulips. So that's what I'm going to do. I used to review hooks quite often. I've got quite a lot that I've done in the past. And then once I got hold of the tulips and I started working with them, I kind of stopped doing it. And I said I would do more. I mean, I actually bought that Quilted Bear colourful set to do. And one by one, I've given them away in my orders. Just put them in and given them away, as well as all the hooks that come in magazines, the hooks that come in my Bella Coco Crochet Society boxes that I had that time. Although she doesn't have anything to do with the Crochet Society anymore. Wasn't really hers in the first place, I don't suppose. She just had a name to it. Anyway, I've given all of those into my orders at some point or another. So, and I always pop if I can, I've got a hook round, I pop a hook in, some yarn or other bits and bobs. So one by one, all of those hooks I've put in, some of them could have been clovers and some of them were probably, you know, ones you get free, but these are now my babies. And I've got this actually came free in one of those boxes, so I've used it just purely for the clovers. That way hopefully I'm not going to lose them and I'm going to be able to review them. And looking at them, they are quite distinctive. So if I've got any in my crochet packs anywhere, I should be able to tell them apart, but I'm going to keep this set intact. Now I'm not going to do the same for the small one, because I do sell in my shop, Hobby Rocks, 2 different types of clover, and the others look really beautiful. They're like, although these are rainbow colours, the others are pastel rainbow, and they do look beautiful, and they're steel, but they are the tiny hooks, you know, the really, really small ones, and I will never use them. I can't imagine me crocheting with anything that thin, that fine. So yeah, it's not really my cup of tea to make doilies or tiny bumblebees or whatever, you know. I'm not going to be doing it, so it'll be pointless me getting those out and reviewing them. But these are aluminium, the others are steel, so that they should be better than these even. But I don't even know what the largest size in that pack is off the top of my head. So cheers. I'm going to have a quick slap. Might be a bit warm. Actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Not burnies. Yeah, it's very quiet around here. Although, you know, it's quiet around here when Gary goes to work. So it really ought not to be any different, but it feels different, you know. It feels different because he's going to be in another country. That's the first time we've ever been apart to that extent. You know, usually he's up the road, or when he worked in Medway, he's as far as, that's the furthest he's been away. When he was actually in hospital was the furthest he's been away. During the pandemic, Gary had some chest pains. And an ambulance took him to hospital because there was an irregularity there. And they kept him in. And of course, I was the one that listens to all the stuff and takes it all in and explains it all to him. He doesn't always hear. He doesn't always hear doctors. Doctors tend to be foreign. Gary can't really hear the accents too well because he has got one hearing aid. The other ear doesn't hear. But and he only hears 20% in the other. So he does need me to kind of get the information from him. But obviously, we weren't allowed. So he was there on his own and he was kept in for a couple of days. And they sent him home telling him that he had angina. So they gave him GTN and they gave him aspirin and they said, you know, we'll send you for various tests. And he had a few tests. And then sometime later, he was doing things like gardening. And Gary always tackled jobs like that. Like his mum would say, a bull in a china shop. You know, if he was going to do the garden, bearing in mind you've seen how long it is, he would do the whole thing in a day. Not just, oh, I'm going to tackle that border today and maybe cut the grass. I'll do the other side later. No, he'd do the whole lot. And he would drip, literally drip where he'd worked so hard. And he would just do that. He wouldn't ache afterwards either. This is an amazing thing. The stamina is unbelievable. So anyway, that's how he always tackled jobs. But he started doing things like that and then he would get a bit of discomfort around here. So he'd kind of get a bit worried that he was going too far. And so in the end, I called because we had the doctor's office. Whoopsie-daisy, sorry about that. And I said, you know, we don't know if Gary has got worse, but he gets quite a bit of discomfort. I think it might be handy to kind of just have him in and check him over. So they said, okay, we'll send him for another test. So he went for another test and they called up and said, it appears that you don't have angina at all, so please stop taking the medication. Okay, bye. And that was it. That was it. So he was taking GTN, which is, for want of a better word, nitroglycerin. And he's been taking that, you know, willy-nilly when he felt like he was exerting himself and getting a bit of what we would probably just have a stitch, I suppose. And all the kind of worry in your head making that feel worse. And he had nothing wrong with him whatsoever. So how they misdiagnosed that, it just beggars belief, really. And the fact that they had him on this heavy-duty medication. Please stop taking it straight away. Yeah, right. If it was me, I'd have sued the butts. You know, I would have sued them. Gary was just glad he didn't have angina anymore. Yeah, I said, Gary, you should complain. Nah, won't get me nowhere. So that was the end of that. They got away with it. But yeah, misdiagnoses. And yet he'd had stress tests and all that sort of thing before. So how could they misdiagnose it? It just makes no sense. Anyway, at least he doesn't have it, but cheers. Nice cup of tea. That was the longest we'd been apart and the furthest. Well, he went to... No, I'll tell a lie. He did stay the night in Twickenham once, and he stayed the night at his uncle's house when his auntie died and the boys went to the funeral. I forgot about that, but you know, that was probably up in Norfolk somewhere, but it was an overnight thing, a funeral home. It wasn't the same. But yeah, anyway, it's weird really knowing that he's going to be in a different country, and it was my idea. He goes, so you know. Is a fan coming on? Yes. Just a weird delay. It's like, I'm thinking about it, okay. All right. Sorry, I'm having a funny 5 minutes. So yeah, today I am going to be working and getting quite a bit done. So that's what I'm going to get stuck into while Gary's away. Work. What I can do anyway. But yeah. And the first item on the agenda is to go and make breakfast because I'm absolutely ravenous, to be honest with you. And as I said a little while ago, I did a little survey of my channel members and asked what if they'd like me to make an exclusive channel members only video called Inside Track, and the overwhelming consensus was that they would. So I probably will do part 1 of that today, so that'll be cool. I haven't really got anything else to tell you this morning, apart from I'm going to get stuck in to make some granny squares and maybe do some tutorials for some squares, because I haven't done a square for a long time. I think I mentioned this in my live yesterday. An International Granny Square Day is either upon us or it's coming. I think it's the 17th and I have no idea what the date is today. So I'm going to be thinking, like, putting my thinking cap on and coming up with a square. I haven't done a square for quite some time. I think the last time I did a square was my snowflake square, and I want to make a blanket with that square this year. I think that might be cool, just to do a nice little Christmassy blanket, even though it's not, it's a snowflake, so you can use it for the whole winter. It doesn't have to be Christmas. That's what I like about making something Christmassy like that, because it's not, oh, I've got to put it away now because it's Christmas is over, and so you can't have a big blanket with the Santa on it the rest of the time. So you can use it all through winter because it's just a snowflake, and that can happen. It can happen in the summer. Gary, well, not Gary. When I was married, and the boys were young, they belonged to a football team, and well, it was Michael's football team actually, and we became friendly with a couple of the parents, and they asked us to go on holiday with them. It was only like a little Easter break in a caravan up in Yarmouth. I'm sorry about that. That was my stomach. I really will go feed it in a minute. So we went on this Easter break in this caravan park with a camp, sort of all the, you know, entertainment and sports days and everything. They'd been before, they loved it. So anyway, we got there and it was absolutely freezing. It was one of those Easters that is not part of summer at all, you know. It's like, no way is this the start of anything. And it was freezing and miserable. My mum came with us as well, which didn't help really the situation. And it snowed. It actually snowed. We left them at one point because the kids wanted to take part in some sports day. Sheila and Doug said they'd take them. And Mum was off playing bingo or something. So my husband at the time, Steve, his name was, him and my mum were kind of like, eh. So he said, should we just go out, see if we can find a shop? I went, yeah, okay. So we went into Yarmouth itself, and we were caught in a blizzard, an absolute caught in a blizzard in Yes, that can happen at any time. Snow doesn't have to be winter. But the only saving grace was that our caravan, all of them, you had to pay for your electricity as you go with pounds in the slot, and ours was broken, so it just gave us free electricity. We put £1 in. We wasted £1 putting it in because it was all right, it was already on. And we put £1 in, waiting for it to run out, and it never did. And Sheila said to us one day, that meter's costing us a fortune because trying to keep warm all the time. And so like, oh, is it? As isn't, you know? She wasn't very happy. She wasn't happy at all. She was always almost considering dobbing us in. So you can't do that just because you've got to pay and we haven't. You know, it's jealousy, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to get off, upload this, and get on with feeding my face and then doing some work. So yeah, and also using these for my review. That'd be cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.